Knowles on the News. Susan Knowles.
Well, I wish I could say that we've had a quiet weekend and a quiet week, but that just doesn't seem to be true anymore. I don't think there has been a week that has gone by where people can take a deep breath and just relax and say, great, all is well. All isn't well. All continues not to be well. And I don't know if we're going to see it look well again, to be honest with you. I'm not sure the United States is ever going to have a time where we can just say, oh, great, things are kind of back to normal, whatever normal is. I think we've all forgotten what the norm used to be in America. It certainly isn't that way anymore. And we're not learning a lot, if at all, anything about what's happening in the Middle East. We get snippets, I do agree. We get snippets, but we don't get the full picture of what's going on in Israel, which, by the way, impacts us here in countless ways. And I kind of want to start there and talk to you about a pastor that I saw, Pastor Amir. And he's over in Israel, and he's talking about what's happening in Israel. Basically, you remember last week when we accidentally killed about, 60-some people, I guess, when we were striking in Syria. It was a U.S.-led coalition. And we killed the wrong people, or we killed the Syrian government troops that we weren't going to kill. Because, see, for 5 years now, we've been after ISIS. So how did that happen? Well, I don't know about you. When I'm told that Americans unintentionally hit those people, I'm not buying it anymore. I really am not buying it anymore. For 5 years, our goal was to go in and get Assad out. That's what we said from the very beginning. We wanted him out of power. And we all knew that, once again, it was just the Obama administration going in and destabilizing the Middle East because that's what they do best. And according to this pastor, once those people were killed, ISIS immediately came in and took over the area, almost immediately. So if the United States is trying to get rid of ISIS and keep ISIS out, why do they keep opening the doors for ISIS to come through, whether intentionally or unintentionally? And what else is interesting, according to this pastor, are the people that were killed. They were Syrians, Iranians, and Russians that were killed. Was that not us perhaps saying to Iran and Russia, we're in charge here, don't forget it? I don't know. It sounds suspicious to me. And of course, according to Russia, that kind of ruined the ceasefire agreement that was supposedly in place. Again, there's so much going on in the Middle East, especially in that area, that we just aren't being told. We're not being told the truth. We're not being told full details. However you want to describe it, we're just not being told. And if you're a person who's interested in Bible prophecy, it's really looking like Damascus, Isaiah 17. It's on the horizon. And I think even just recently, Iran says basically, well, okay, we're going to just start bringing on and developing more weapons because of the fact that this strike occurred. So they're ramping up. And we supposedly are, the cause of that now, which doesn't surprise me. We give Iran all the money in the world, and then they create more weapons, and we sit back probably and go, oh, you're kidding. That's what they're going to do with that money? I thought it was humanitarian efforts. I'm shaking my head. I know you can't see me, but I'm shaking my head at this point. But there's always been rumors that in Damascus there are weapons of mass destruction, and that's where Saddam Hussein took those weapons before we went in to Iraq. Now, who knows if that's true or not? I don't really know. All I know is, according to biblical prophecy in Isaiah 17, Damascus is going to be wiped off the face of the map. And that doesn't surprise me, especially if there are chemical weapons and nuclear weapons in Damascus. That would not be a surprise and not be a far stretch. But why aren't we being told these things? Why aren't we being told about the fact that once those people were killed, ISIS just moved in and took over? Yeah, well, that would be another embarrassment, right, to the Obama legacy that he wants to leave. It's just amazing what's happening. Everything we do seemingly seems to keep Israel at great risk and put them at great risk. No matter what we do, Israel is, let's face it, Israel's the target for all those people over in the Middle East right now. Whether it's Russia, whether it's Iran. Iran hates Israel and wants them off, blown away off the face of the map. So nothing has changed in that regard. And they're going to be coming in for Israel's booty, which is the Golan Heights. I mean, especially, there's so much natural gas there in Golan Heights that anybody who has that controls everything, basically. And yet, again, we're silent here in the United States about what's going on over there. And it's pretty amazing, too. During the time that we were having the terrorist attack, and I'm gonna call them the terrorist attacks, even though our president doesn't want to say those words. Anytime that you terrorize people, it's called terrorism, and it's a terrorist attack. I know he's afraid of offending Muslims, and he doesn't care about offending the people whose family members were injured or killed in whatever circumstance. But let's just make sure that, I don't know, we don't offend the Muslim Brotherhood or ISIL, as he likes to say. Shaking my head again, just for those who want to know. But anyway, during that time when those attacks were going on, there was an attack in Israel. And the only way that I found out about it is because I watch Periscope. I follow a gentleman that lives over in Israel, and he came on with the Periscope and described what happened during the night. The terrorists were outside of his home in this one area, and they were coming for people. And the Israeli police is so great, the IDF, that they were able to neutralize the situation very rapidly. And the people in Israel, they're so great. They threw a party for the people who saved their lives. We don't do that. We burn down cop cars and loot and everything else when we don't like something. And it seems like now we're starting to do that all the time, whether we like or dislike something. But I thought that was so great for them to throw them a party and to say thank you for saving them. Although, I get it. It's their job to do so. But how nice to let their police know that they're appreciated. We certainly, at this point in America, many are not appreciative of the police. And it would be nice, maybe we should do that. And hey, that's something I'm going to really think about doing something to say thank you to the police that protect us every day. But kind of getting back to it, I don't know if you realized on the night that there were the terrorist attacks in New York, New Jersey, and let's not forget Minnesota, which I think most people have already forgotten because it's not even being mentioned. But it was the night that Obama was at I guess addressing the Black Caucus or some affair they were having, and he was dancing the night away with Michelle. As people are getting stabbed, as people are getting, injured by shrapnel coming from a bomb, he's out dancing the night away. And it took our mainstream media about 30 minutes or so to even talk about the fact that this stuff was happening. I mean, I was shocked. I kept tuning in to CNN or Fox, anything I could, to just try to find something about what was going on. And the only thing I could find, once again, was social media. No wonder they want to control the internet because, think about it. The only time we're getting information is when we get it through social media. And then when you get it on mainstream media, they spin it any way they want to spin it. So you're not really getting the truth. You're getting the raw, cold, hard facts when you're getting it off of social media. Otherwise, you don't know what you get. Flip a coin. It may be just as good to do that, and that'll tell you what's going on. But as you may recall, this all started on Saturday in New Jersey when a trash can exploded at a marine charity event. And it so happened that the event had been, I guess, postponed for a little while because of the fact apparently somebody had called in saying that there was some type of threat. So they held up this charitable event, and then here comes the bomb. Everything just kind of goes off at once, and everybody's looking at that like, oh my gosh, who did that? Whatever, it can't be terrorism, blah blah blah. So we went on about our business, which we often do. And what happens later on that night? Another explosion occurs in New York. 29 people are injured, and almost immediately once the news starts coming on, we have officials coming out, de Blasio, Cuomo, whoever they always bring out in New York. Let's sit back, let's wait. It's probably not terrorism. It's, gosh, maybe somebody just put a lit cigarette in something. Of course, they didn't say that, but I'm just saying. They minimize everything, and you're supposed to sit there and go, oh, okay, sure, we'll just wait. And we'll find out it was no big deal. I'm sure it was just an accident. Something exploded unintentionally, and that's all it was. And all of us are sitting here, the ones that are awake and the ones that know what's going on. We're all sitting here going, really, they're wanting us to buy this. I mean, it's almost laughable anymore. If it weren't so serious, it would be laughable that the officials think that we're so gullible that now we'll believe anything. And maybe a number of people do. But we're not buying it anymore. We're sitting here going, we know you're lying to us. We know you know more than what you're telling us. And you know as well as I do, it's terrorism. You know that it is. And then all the time that's being discussed, when it finally is being discussed on the mainstream media with what happened in New York and New Jersey, nobody's talking about Minnesota. I mean, here a guy goes in and he says to people, are you Muslim? No. Okay. And then he stabs them. 9 people get stabbed. Originally was 8, and then 9, another person brought himself to the hospital because he had been stabbed by this guy. And we're supposed to sit back and go, oh, that's not terrorism. Come on. And we're supposed to go, oh, I guess nothing's really happening in Minnesota because they're not really talking about it. And again, I haven't seen anything about what happened in Minnesota. I'm still waiting to see what they're going to say about that. It's like it never happened. And then, add insult to injury, we find out that 2 years ago, the guy in New York, the one they arrested, the one that possibly planted like 5 more pressure cooker type bombs. 2 years prior in 2014, his father called the FBI and said, hey, let me just tell you something. My son, he's a terrorist. You need to do something about it. So what does the FBI do? Apparently nothing. Or if they did, they didn't do a very good job. What more do you need? See something, say something? What a joke. What a joke. You want us to believe that you're really serious about that when somebody's father calls and says, hey, my son's a terrorist, and you don't even go out and do anything about that? I mean, seriously? How are we going to catch anybody if we call you up and say, hey, my own son is a terrorist, see something, say something. I am saying something now, and I'm more than seeing something. And you're not going to do anything about it. What a joke. What a joke. Does the American public not matter anymore to anybody in office? Homeland Security, FBI, Obama administration, are we even on your radar screen these days as being of any amount of importance to you? I really want to know. Because it doesn't seem like public safety matters at all anymore to anyone, especially those in the elite class, if you will. It just keeps getting worse. I mean, it really, really does. You wonder how many more terrorist cells are out there where somebody's called the FBI and the FBI is like, oh, yeah, we'll go check it out. Well, certainly whenever we have time. Unbelievable. You know, this could have been stopped had 2 years ago they gone and gotten this guy. And then we want to make light of the situation. Oh, well, you know, he came from Afghanistan. Well, we failed to mention until much later on that he went to Pakistan too. And that's probably where he became radicalized. Unbelievable. And then to cap it all off, which is, it's no surprise what I'm about to tell you, because it happens seemingly all the time. But Obama, on his last speech as president, oh my gosh, let's all shed a tear, goes before the UN and talks about what happened in New York. Can't bring himself really to talk too much about the words terrorism, terrorists, you know, blah, 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 because he might offend someone. But he takes time out of his busy schedule talking about what happened in New York and New Jersey. I mean, after all, there's not much time because the golf clubs are sitting in the back of the limo waiting for him to come out and take him there to the golf course. So we got to get this in quickly, but we don't have to hurry so fast because we need to have one more slam against Israel. We need to stand up there on our podium and our high horse and say, okay, you know, things would be better in the Middle East if only Israel would stop what they're doing and give up all of their land and throw down their weapons and surrender to Palestine. Something like that. I mean, I went a little far, but I'm sure that Obama would be happy if that were the case, if they did all of that. But you take an opportunity. People have been injured. People in the United States have been injured. And what do? You take time out to slam Israel one more time. Maybe your last opportunity as president, especially in front of the UN, to slam Israel. But you took the time. You took the time. And forget about everybody else. It's all about you. After your I, me, my, everything that got out of the way, then you had to slam Israel. I have to give it to you. I mean, you really know how to work things in there. Gosh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And he does this all the time. He's done this for the past 8 years, which seems like 1,000 years. And it's not going to be any time soon enough for him to just get out of town. Just go. Just go. And, of course, he'll never just go. But at least perhaps he'll be out of the White House. And who knows? We haven't gotten an election yet. We haven't gotten there. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but everybody else keeps saying maybe he won't go. Maybe he'll declare martial law. Nothing would surprise me anymore. Nothing. Absolutely nothing surprises me anymore. So we'll leave that one open as a possibility, although I'm hoping that's not true. And what more is he going to say? I mean, what more damage can Obama do before he goes? Plenty. And I love the way, once again, how he just talks down to African Americans. And in the past, they've bought this type of rhetoric. They've been chastised now by the almighty Obama, who has said, I am going to take this personal if you don't vote for Hillary Clinton, because that's a part of my legacy. Okay, makes no sense whatsoever, but everybody there on the Democrat side right now is desperate. They have a candidate that can barely keep herself upright, and you've got to have the first black president who's talking to his black people. I hope African Americans somehow learn that the Democratic Party tries to own you, okay? They talk down to you, they belittle you like you're stupid, like you can't make a decision without them. That's what progressives do. And if you buy into that, then nothing I can do to help you. But it's about time that you showed the progressive left that you have a mind of your own, that you can actually think on your own, and you don't need them helping you. I mean, look at how much they've, quote-unquote, helped you so far. I mean, if you just look at statistics for African Americans, they're abysmal and have been pretty much ever since desegregation and once the Democrats got their hands on, quote-unquote, helping you. Shaking my head again. I'm gonna have to have something so that my head doesn't shake so much. But I tell you, if African Americans turn out in record numbers and vote for Hillary, help us all, and help you, because you will know then that you have totally been bought, hook, line, and sinker. And if you continue to believe what Black Lives Matter and Al Sharpton espouses to you, those people, they take total advantage of you, absolute total advantage of you. They use the most vulnerable among the black community. They use them to their benefit to get what they want. And they love the chaos. Why do you think these people make so much money? Because they're doing the dirty work for people like Soros and other progressive groups. That's what's happening. And they will use you just like Obama has used you for 8 years, because they don't care. They're getting rich. They have no allegiance to you. And I don't know who it's going to take. It's probably going to have to be somebody from the black community that goes in there and convinces people, stop listening. But when they do that, when they go in there and they try to convince people of that, then they're called all kinds of names by their own black community, because then they're seen as a turncoat, not somebody that wants to help them. And that's such a shame, because this has been going on for so long that they really believe it now. Many in the black community really believe it now. And you have the youth of America being brainwashed further by Black Lives Matter, that, oh my gosh, everything is so bad. You need your own segregated safe space in college, because you can't be around other people. You're just special that way. How long did you fight for equality and desegregation, and now you want to segregate yourself? Ask yourself how much sense that makes. It's unbelievable what's going on in our country and how horrible it is. And to watch this kind of all unfold because people are being used and they don't even know it. And on top of all of what's going on and what the administration expects black people to do because he says so, then we have what's going on out there in regards to the police and people getting shot and killed. It immediately everybody jumps to the conclusion it's racism. They're out looking to kill black people. This has got to stop. We had a recent incident in Tulsa, Oklahoma, between a black man and two, I guess they're both white officers. I think the female who ended up shooting the black man, she looks light-skinned. I guess she could be white. Okay, so I don't know. But what I try to tell people is, let's wait till we get all the facts before we jump to conclusions and say one way or the other what happened. Because when you're not there, when you're not the person who's standing there having to make that split-second decision whether or not to shoot somebody, you don't know what happened. You really don't know what happened. And people were saying, well, but look, he had his hands up. Yeah, he did at one point. And somebody else, well, he had his hands down. Yes, he did at one point. While they apparently still had guns drawn, he put his hands down. And then other people are saying, well, he was shot while he was on the ground. I don't know what all the facts are. I'm not going to conclude anything because I don't know all the facts. And also, wouldn't it be great if we just wait and let the court system handle that, the judicial system? That's what our legal system is all about. Not to be tried in the public eye, but allow all the facts to come out, and then by a jury of the peers make a decision on what should be done. Now, nobody seems to be talking about other aspects of the shooting in Tulsa that is also relevant. 2 people at least that I know of called in a 911. One woman in particular called in and said, a man left his car running in the middle of the street, doors open. He jumps out of the vehicle and started saying, I don't know, some pretty weird things to her. Something on the order of, maybe somebody's after him or something's happening. I don't exactly know what it was, but to her it came across as very strange. And she even said to the dispatcher, he seems to be high on something. So there's that. And then later, apparently, I've heard this on social media, again, don't know if it's true or not, that they found PCP in his car. And the first thing people want to say is, oh, okay, they planted that. That's called planting of evidence. Why do you feel like that? What makes you believe that? What any type of detail were you given that makes you think that the cops planted PCP? What do? Carry around a vial of PCP with them just so they can, if they need it, they can put it there? Like every cop just does that? Every cop is bad? Come on. Why do we get this way? We get this way because the progressive left, they say it over and over and over. And if they say it long enough, people start to believe, well, maybe there's some truth in it. Maybe police officers do just hate black people. Maybe that's why they're out and looking. They go out every morning just to look for black people to kill. I mean, that's basically the message that comes across from these activist groups, and people start to believe it over time. But what happened to let's look at the facts that you're innocent until proven guilty or otherwise, right? I mean, what happened to reasonable doubt? Where did all of that go? And people want to, again, act like that cops are out just taking, target practice on black people, and they're killing them off at astronomical rates. It's not true. The statistics don't bear that. More white people are killed by cops than are black people. Well, I guess maybe the white people ought to get out there and start, doing something, because we're getting killed more often than black people are by police officers. Or maybe white people should just, as seemingly as they're doing, just say, well, that's what the facts warranted, and so there you go. But no, the first thing that people want to do is just call out racism. His twin sister in Tulsa, I watched the video, talked about, how hurt she is, and obviously she would be. Her twin brother, has been killed. But automatically it goes to racism. Oh, let's stop this. Let there not be one more case of this. Da 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 da. The whole racism starts coming out without her even knowing the facts. Now, you can almost understand, because she's a grieving sister, that she might say something like that. But then the rest of social media, I mean, come on. Let's back it up. Let's calm down. And then of course, we have another recent shooting in North Carolina. This just happened, where I don't have all of the particulars, but I know a couple of things that I've read is there was a black man, for whatever reason, got out of his car with a gun. And twice he got out, got back in, got back out. And apparently, according to what I've been reading, the police officers gave him ample warning to put his weapon down. He didn't, and so they shot and killed him. Now, that's what's being alleged. And it's also being alleged that a black undercover cop is the one who shot him. But what happens? Again, we don't want to wait for the evidence. We don't want to wait and hear all the facts. We don't even want to wait for a court to go, have this go through the legal system. No, immediately, here come the demonstrators. I call them rioters and looters. Let's not call them demonstrators, protesters. They're not doing that. They're rioting, they're looting, they're hurting people, okay? So what happens? At least 12 officers get injured. One got hit in the face with a brick, from what I understand. Police cars start being, damaged in some way. I don't know if any were set on fire. Who knows? And all because why? Because people didn't want to wait for the facts to hear the case. And I watched live coverage of this on Facebook Live. Again, social media, places like that, where I'm watching this adult male black man who is in the face of a police officer who looks white, another male, tall guy, with the riot gear, with the shield in front of his face. So the African-American male is in his face, basically. Why did you do this? Why did it have to be this way? I don't hate you people. Why do you have to keep doing this? Why do you have to keep doing what? Killing somebody that was armed, perhaps? That's what's being alleged. Armed and dangerous because he won't comply with the orders that are being given to drop a weapon. It makes no sense. And I'll tell you what really is going on. There's so much underlying anger that has absolutely nothing to do with the situation occurring at that time. I mean, people, yes, they may be angry at that particular time, at that situation. But this is a boiling over of the anger that you've carried around with you for a long, long time. And there have been different people, like Reverend Jesse Peterson, who I had on my show, who says this is because they're angry because they don't have fathers in the home, and they're taking it out on white people because they've been told that's what they're supposed to do. And by the way, I've had Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson on my show twice. Go back and listen to those shows. They're excellent. He gives you a great understanding about what is going on and what the real reasons are, and his own life and how he dealt with all of these things. Go back and listen to those. Just go to Spreaker.com, type in Susan Knowles, scroll down through there, and you'll see the shows with Jesse Lee Peterson. Great, great shows. He really knows what he's talking about. So that's what we're seeing. That's the anger that is spilling out into the streets. That's the anger that comes out and allows people in their own minds to destroy cop cars, to injure police officers, to riot, to loot, whatever they want to do. And then the next day, we get some cop that comes out and put in front of a podium, because I'm sure, he's been told what he needs to say by the mayor. We've got to start doing things differently. We've got to come together and all this, that, and the other. Yeah, we do. But what happens, you need to arrest those people. When those people are out there rioting in the street and protesting, I don't care how you do it legally, but arrest those people. Stop this type of thing from happening. And if you don't, if you're only going to wait until the next day and say, gosh, we gotta really sit down and talk and do things differently, you're not doing what you should do to safeguard the American public. All you're basically doing is emboldening people and saying you're going to be able to get away with protesting, rioting, looting, injuring, whatever the case may be. You're going to get away with it. Now, I don't even know if they're going to go back and try to find these people and arrest them. They should. I don't know if they will. And so when the next time comes, and there will be a next time, there always will be a next time, somebody is going to not comply with a police officer, somebody's going to draw a gun on a police officer, And then all the Monday morning quarterbacks are going to say, oh my gosh, they killed an innocent black man or innocent black woman or whomever. Now, are there incidences where people do get killed and they were innocent? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that every single cop out there is out to do you harm. It really does not. They want to go home at night just as you do. And it's so easy to comply. When they say put the gun down, put the gun down. Put the gun down. And if they did something you don't like, you think it's against your civil rights or anything else, then is not the time to talk about it. That moment is the time to comply. You can file a grievance later on because you will be alive to file that grievance. I know I've told you this before, but I'm going to tell you this story again. When I was in the academy, we were allowed to carry our guns. And it was late at night. I was going home. I had my gun on the seat. It was not loaded. And in California even, we were allowed to do that way back when. Do that now, and it's not going to be a good turnout for you because it's illegal. But I got pulled over. A cop thought I was, I don't know, going through a red light or making a wrong turn. I don't know what it was. I can't even remember. The first thing that I did, without being told, commonsensically, I put my hands out the window because the big lights on my car, I can't even see what's behind me because the lights are so bright. But I knew whoever was back there, man or woman cop, they could see where my hands were. And I yelled back to the car, I have a gun on my seat. It is unloaded. It's on the passenger seat. And guess what? The cop comes up. He sees the gun. He sees my hands. And nothing happens because he's safe. I'm safe. He looks in. He sees the gun's unloaded. And then he asks for license and registration. And I had to lean over near where the gun was, even though I know it's unloaded. At this point, he probably knows for sure it is. And I look at him and I said, I have to lean over here and get into the glove box. Is that okay with you? And I'm not African American even. But I'm going to do whatever I have to do to ensure my safety and to ensure the officer isn't fearing for his life. And it's okay. I didn't feel violated by that. I didn't feel like he was a racist or doing anything to me. I just felt like commonsensically we need to be safe here. It's dark. I have a gun in my car. He doesn't know what my intentions are with that gun. Just like with the guy in North Carolina. Who knows why he had a gun? Who knows what his intentions are or were? It just, the person made a wrong decision if the facts are as they say they are. Again, I don't really know what happened. I'm going to wait till all the facts or until it's in court and let them figure it out. It's not my case. I don't have to deal with it. But all of the protests that come on right after, and now it doesn't even matter that it was a black person who killed another black person. I don't even think cops are looked at as black cops are looked at as people anymore by some in their own black community. Once they're working as a cop, and if they kill a black person, they're no longer a human being. So it's okay then in some of these people's minds to treat them any way they want to. And again, these people are being brainwashed by the very people who are lining their pockets for money from George Soros and other progressive left groups. And those people, the Soroses of the world, are sitting back and laughing at what's going on and how they are using people and how they are causing the chaos that they want to cause in order for our country to be ripped apart, for us as people to be ripped apart. That makes them so happy. It's just according to their plan. And people are falling right into it, the trap. And I wish I knew what the solution really was. I'm sick of hearing this rhetoric of Black Lives Matter, white privilege, you this, you that. I mean, if you go on and you watch a live feed of what was going on, people were just nasty comments, one right after the other. Racial comments, bigoted comments, hate-filled comments going back and forth. Yeah, that really solves an issue. You know, and I'm not one of these people. I'm not going to sit down and listen to you talk about what you feel has been the reason that you've been wronged, if you can't do it respectfully. And nobody should have to listen to people yelling at them, calling them names, or anything else. And that goes either way. We need to have a respectful dialogue somehow. And I don't know how we get there, because we are not there right now. We are very, very far away from that. And I don't know who it's going to take or how many people it's going to take to have that conversation. I don't see others in the black community other than people like Jesse Lee Peterson and a few others that really reach out and try to get the black community to understand that this is not what you're dealing with here. This is, you're being lied to. And of course, that's not everybody in the black community who believes this crap. They don't. But it's just enough people to bring them out onto the streets, to cause trouble, to keep things going. And we have to stop that. And we do need to sit down and talk to each other, but we have to do it respectfully. And we have to let go of some things on both sides. We really do. You can't change the past. And if you're always looking at the past, you're never going to see the present or the future. Things cannot be undone. So you're going to have to get through that and over that some way. And that doesn't mean you forget the past, but it means that you put it in its proper perspective as you're trying to move forward. And talk about what it is that you feel in areas where you've been wronged, and let's correct those now and in the future. Can't change the past. It can't be changed. But we have so many problems in this country and so many things that we're dealing with, and we're dealing with them all at once. And that, folks, that is by design. Because the more problems that we have on one on top of the other, the more this administration does whatever they want to do. Because we are going to be so busy, wrapped up in so many things that are happening, that we don't have an opportunity to kind of sit back and go, my gosh, not only are people in the black community being played, people in the American community are being played in one way or the other. I mean, seriously, we all are being played. And I think all of us know that. We all know, at least the people listening, when I say we all, we know that we're not being told things. We know that information is being withheld from us. And we know there are things going on behind the scenes that we aren't being told. It's a fact, okay? I mean, I don't care how many times they tell us differently. It's a fact. Case in point, 858 plus deportees were made American citizens. Because why? Oops, we made a mistake. Sorry about that. Darn it, I hate it when that happens, don't you? Department of Homeland Security, they're always doing their job so well, and then they make a little mistake like that. It's just a little mistake. 858 people out of all the United States citizens that we have, and the people here, that's not a big number. Let's not panic, people. It's such a small, small number. 858 plus. Well, here's what you and I know. If they tell us it was 858 plus people, it was probably 3 to 4 times that many that we don't know about, that we're not being told about, and we may never know that those people are the ones that became citizens also. And why would this happen? Gosh, I don't know. Is it because there's an election coming up and people who are American citizens can vote? Could that be it? Could it be for other nefarious reasons, like, I don't know, maybe these people are part of the Muslim Brotherhood, any number of other reasons why these people were mistakenly made American citizens, all because, gosh, I don't know, something happened with the fingerprints. We just made a little error with the fingerprints, and no big deal. And is this ever going to be corrected? Will these people have their citizenships revoked? Will it matter? Will they ever find these people if that's the intent of revoking their citizenship? Will they ever find them again? Or will they just kind of go back and forth, in and out of the United States or any place else they want to now that they're American citizens? Because, they're not going to put them on any list, right? They're not going to be on some terrorist list. Oh, my gosh, no. Why would we do that? Why would we embarrass people? It's okay to embarrass the grandmas that you're strip searching as they go through the airport, but certainly not people who could potentially be terrorists. That's called racial profiling. And that might hurt somebody's feelings. So we can't do that. Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And we continue just to see this happening every day. And we're supposed to sit back and go, no big deal. I'm sure they'll take care of it. It's not a problem. When we all know that it's a major problem. When we all know that we're being told we need to bring up, 110,000 more Syrian refugees in here right now? And Obama, he still has some time. And if you think do anything, you're going to be sadly mistaken. He'll do whatever he can do to bring these people in here. And you can't even properly vet the deportees. You're going to tell me that you're going to somehow properly vet Syrian refugees that are coming into this country. But if we even say that, then, we're just racist. We don't like Muslims. So we just have to pretend that everything is okay, that there's no problem, and let these people in, because why? They're not going to be a problem. I don't know, people. I don't know what we're going to have to do, because Congress isn't helping us. In fact, you have Paul Ryan who's sitting there in agreement of everything. Oh, bring them on in. You have the Pope. Bring them on in. The Pope's in Italy, and nobody's at the Vatican that I know of that he's bringing all these refugees in. He may have one or two, but why don't you take in, 100, 200, and let them live at the Vatican? See how it goes. See if you can change these people. And what happens when you bring in 110,000 people? You know what's going to happen. You've seen the videos in Germany and everywhere else. You know what's going to happen to the country. And is that because, we're just Americans who hate people? No, that's because we're Americans who understand that if you don't come into America and at least try to assimilate into being an American and to embrace this culture, it's going to change our country forever. And a number of the people from Syrian refugees, they do not like us. I hate to break that to this administration. They already know this, but to people who follow this administration and believe this administration, there are people out there who don't want to coexist with us. How can that be? We have those cute little bumper stickers that say coexist. Why wouldn't people want to coexist with us? Well, they don't. And so we have to figure out a way to be able to legally stop these people from coming here. And I don't know what that's going to be. And I don't know who can lead us to make that happen. I guess a lot of people feel that, if Donald Trump gets in, we're not going to have that issue anymore. Well, even if Donald Trump gets elected in November, Obama's got until January to do what he does. And you can believe that the devastation that he's created already is only going to get worse as he draws closer to that January deadline. I mean, how many more criminals will he let out this time? What's he going to do in that regard? He's a very scary man when he wants to be. He has an excuse for everything and everybody's behavior. He lets people out in Gitmo. People have already been let out of there. I mean, he's doing everything he can so he can have that legacy. Oh, I closed Gitmo. I said I was going to do it a long time ago, but it just took 8 years. Don't push your luck with me. Don't keep bringing that up with me. I've got a legacy here. It's going to be a pretty scary time, and I think. And I've heard this from other people, as we get closer to the election, you're going to see more events, more attacks, more things happening. Is that because there's a conspiracy theory? No, I think it's just because a lot of people are invested in making sure that who they want to get in office gets in, that their goals are fulfilled, whatever the case may be. And I don't know who those people are. I don't know if they're Americans, American citizens, American residents, somebody from another country, Islam followers. I have no idea. But we're seeing it already. It has stepped up with New Jersey, New York. How many more people are out there like this man who's being alleged in New York that he did this damage? How many more people are out there? You know that there are tons more people out there like that. Did the FBI go check them out, or did the FBI just say, we'll take a pass? If your mother calls and says you're a terrorist, does that have more strength and more credibility than if your dad calls? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. Again, if we had a government that was interested in stopping all of this, it would be stopped. If we had a government that was interested in stopping the rioters and the looters on the street every time someone gets killed, that would stop too. We don't have anybody who's interested in stopping the chaos because it benefits them to keep the chaos going. I'm just going to say it. We all know it's true, and we need to start saying it. And we need to get to a point, and I don't know, I think people are getting more comfortable with it, but we need to get to a point where political correctness is over with. I know the left continues to try to silence us and make us believe that we don't have a right to speak because of whatever label that they have assigned to us this week. But we have to start speaking up, whether you do that on social media, whether you write a book, whether you do a podcast, whether you do it with your own friends and family. You have to start speaking up. That is the only way that we're going to ever be able to try to reverse the extensive damage that's already taken place. As we've talked about so many times before, progressives don't stop. They just keep going. I don't even think they sleep. And they do so much to try to destroy the family and destroy everything that we hold dear in this country, because it's not what they hold dear. It never has been. Communist ideas and ideologies is really what they hold dear. And if you know anything about communism, and I suggest that you go and read up on it, they don't have value. They don't value the family. In fact, let's have other people raise your kids because you're just not capable of it. You're not going to do a good job, or kids can be a burden. So let's not go there. Let's not have a family. And they know that the only way to destroy the America, one good way, one step that they need to take, that is to destroy the family. And they've done a very good job at destroying the family. And we're not even allowed to talk about that anymore, because if you talk about the destruction of the family, then that means that you're some religious zealot, you're some extremist, you're racist, homophobic, whatever other label that they can assign to you, then that's what you are. I would suggest that you just continue to seek out like-minded people. We're really going to need that support as things get worse. And things, I believe, will get worse. I mean, again, I'm looking at it from a Bible prophecy type thing. Just in that alone, I can see where we're going. Everybody else can see, can see where we're going. My opinion, close to Isaiah 17 and the destruction of Damascus. When will that occur? Who knows? It's just that's kind of what it's leading towards, or that's what it looks like it. And then the Ezekiel 38 and 39 with the Arab-Israeli type war coming shortly thereafter. Who knows when that will take place? Who knows how quickly all of this will occur? We don't know. We really don't know. But you just have to keep focused on the right place, and the right place to focus is on God. But also, you have to find like-minded people that where you don't lose your sanity. Really, just put it simply, that you can talk to them, they understand you, and you understand them. Because there are a lot of times when you're talking to people, they just don't get it. They don't watch the news. They don't know what's going on. They sit happily as if nothing's occurring anywhere in the world. And we are not going to be able to get through to some of those people, and you need to stop trying. You say your piece and then you move on. But the important thing here is you need to say what you need to say. You need to try to inform people of what's going on, to educate them, and then you just leave it alone. If they don't want to participate, if they don't believe what you're saying, your job is done. Go on to the next person who maybe is closer to coming around to the truth and understanding what's really going on, and who's starting to wake up. Go to that person and just let that one, work on that one. Focus on that one. But we're going to need to somehow, again, to pull together, because whoever gets into office, especially if Hillary gets into office, we have to stick together to get things done, to prevent her from destroying America, what shred is left, to keep her from destroying America, whether that's through, some people are saying, well, maybe, if she gets in, she'll be impeached. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to impeach that woman. I really don't. I think if she gets in, the only way she's going to leave the office is because she's too sick to continue, or she dies in office from her health issues, her, quote unquote health issues that people say she doesn't have, or whatever the case may be. And you can't gamble on that. I mean, that's one reason people need to get out and vote. You can't gamble on what may happen to Hillary if she gets into office. If she gets into office, it will be the worst period in history, I think, that we've ever seen. That would be my bet, and that would be, I think, pretty close to what would happen. So if nothing else, when you're talking to people, you need to convince them to get out and vote. And vote against Hillary so that she doesn't get in. And it's going to be really interesting in 5 days or so from now to see what the debates are going to be like. I can only imagine. It looks like we have another liberal panel. So I think we pretty much know what's going to go down. As we've seen in the past, when you have a liberal panel, they always favor the Democratic nominee, just the way it is. And I think they're a waste of time. Not because I don't want to hear what they have to say, but I just don't think we get a chance to really hear what they have to say. I think we have the moderators who make sure that what's being said makes their candidate look favorable, and that's not who we are as Americans, but that's who we've become as far as our debates are concerned. We have a lot of work to do. We have no help really in getting things turned around. It's going to be up to each and every one of us individually and together, working to try to turn this ship around. I don't know how far this ship can be turned around, and I don't even know if we're going to have that opportunity to do that. But we certainly need to give everything that we have and do what we feel that we are called to do. And I think that's the most important thing, is for you and I to do what we feel that we are called to do. It's going to be more and more important as time goes by in saving this country and saving the future of this country. You and I are the ones that are going to be able to be in that position to at least give it a shot. There's nobody else. You're not going to get that help from the left. So conservatives, if there is such a thing anymore, are going to be left to do all that. I thank you so much for being here today. We're going to have a great guest next week. Be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. And until next week, God bless you. I'll see you then. Take care.